Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So it's review time for the P08 I can't pronounce it, German Luger. So this is the all-metal blowback version. So every time you fire it, this mechanism comes up and voila. Okay. Now of course when you have no BBs, it's not going to go back down. Alright. So you actually have to pull the mag or just reload your clip and slam it back in, and then you can recock and it's ready to go. Now with the gun too, like I said, you cock it initially to get it to fire. You start doing your shooting, it's going to stop. So if you want to safety decock this gun, you have to have the mag removed, flip it back, pull the trigger, it fires. Then you're safe. So even when you put the gas back in, it's not going to do anything. Alright. It does have a bit of a wallop to it though. My initial Crony test video, it didn't feel that bad, but after being out here and just giving her, I noticed it's got to be loosening up. The more you use the gun, things loosen up, and it definitely does have some kick to it, so you got to really watch your aim. I actually painted the front sight tip with some white nail polish so I could actually see the tip, because to go black on black with a target, it's like, forget it. It's very difficult to line up your sight. Now these are also fixed sights as well. The neat thing is when this goes up for the blowback, it moves your rear sight at the same time, right? So you have to take your shot, line it up, make sure you're lined up, and then you squeeze the trigger, because all of this is going to go up on you. Got something in my ear. Anyways, so we've got approximately a 19 round mag. I've managed to squeeze 20 rounds into this thing. Can be done. It does have a white end seal, which is good. It's a heavy duty end seal. It's going to last you for years. Just make sure that every second or third bottle you put a couple drops of either 30 weight non-detergent motor oil, which is what I recommend, or if you must, use Craftsman pellet gun oil. But your seals will last you literally 5 times or more longer using 30 weight non-detergent motor oil. Anyways, so that's just my advice. So there's your lube point there. Maybe put a drop on the back of the valve stem as well. And this thing does have a very soft stem on it for a return spring. So it's easily, shot. Like, that's good that it's that sensitive. Usually they're much stiffer. But this thing doesn't exactly have a heavy hitting hammer either inside the mechanism. Now you do have fire and safe, of course. So when it's on safe, yep, you could actually pull this up. But you can't fire the gun. It's not going to fire. You pull this out. We can reset it, no problem. And because it got cocked, even though it was on safe, it does actually engage the hammer either way. Now this has a C-shape or crescent shape type trigger on it. Very wide, very sensitive trigger. It is very light. It is definitely going to take a lot of getting used to. You could, I mean, I had some shots that I didn't even want to take, but I was like, kaboom, and it blows back, and if your finger's not loose, then it could easily fire again. It's very sensitive trigger on this gun. The gun is also field strippable using this mechanism here. You can actually field strip the gun. We're actually not going to go through that in this video. At least that wasn't the plan. So now I got to figure out what I just did. Alright. Oh yeah, this is supposed to be back. Okay, this was an unplanned move from me. I did not intend to do that. Oh, there we go. Push the thing down and then we're okay. Alright. Again, I did watch a video on how to do this, but I haven't done the field strip yet, so that was purely my bad. So I'll spend some time and then I'll show you how to do all that. But that is what that latch is for. So if you do accidentally flip it down, just push down in on this. Well, you got to cock it first, then you can push down and reset it, and you're okay. Now, here's something really cool about the gun. I would have expected a lot less blowback, because watch the whole action as I pull up on this. So the entire action actually pulls back. I would think that that would work as a better accuracy and a little bit of anti-recoil. It actually doesn't though, but it is kind of unique that the whole top end, along with the, I guess you would call it a hammer system on a real gun, it all moves back at once. It's like, that is kind of really neat. Recently I was working on a Ferrumbow 300S rifle, and they have a rail system in it, so when you cock the gun, of course, it shoves the action completely forward. When you fire it, it shoves the entire top action back. Recock it again, puts it all. It's a weird system, but it actually does help for absolutely no recoil in the gun, which is kind of neat. Anyways, your mag only goes in one way, so make sure that your valve stem is pointing toward the back of the gun, because that's how she goes in. I do find that it is a bit of a sensitive system up here, and that may get better with time and use, but I would definitely practice the whole thing of, you know, don't be violent with it, but, you know, don't be pansy with it either, okay? Give it a bit of a, and click in place so that lock can reset, and then it's locked in. That's just the way the gun happens to be. Very short barrel on this thing, about 3 inches roughly. It is a brass barrel too. There is a nice recess in there as well. This is a replica gun, right? Back in the old days, this hook back here is for a lanyard to keep it on the guy so that it can't be taken away from him with too much ease, or he doesn't drop his gun either if he happens to be in a fight. You know, I guess that's what they use that sort of system for. But it is a really neat piece of machinery nonetheless. And the only plastic that seems to be on this gun is actually just the grips. It's the only thing that seems to be plastic anywhere on it. But in time, of course, this mechanism will wear in better and run a lot smoother too, and maybe we'll have a little bit less kick in the end result. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a little more violent kick. It seems to be getting more violent with use, so I would probably say as it, you know, is being used, it's going to get more violent. Now, rapid firing this sucker, you're going to freeze that bottle pretty quick. But you can rapid fire 20 rounds without a big deal. So as fast as you can pull it, just bang, 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 bang. But you're going to have to let it sit now for about 20 minutes before the bottle warms back up enough that it's going to be usable again. Otherwise, if you jam another loaded mag in there too soon and the bottle's still icy, you're not going to get very good performance or shots. Now, we ran this over the Crony, and I believe, if I remember correctly, on our Crony test, but you can check that video, it did about 310. So that's about 10 feet per second above the rated 300. Some websites are a little deceptive, whether it's this one or the non-blowback version. The non-blowback claims 410. And they claimed 410 on DNL's website with this one too, and I thought, well, 410 for blowback? BB? It should be pretty good. 300 though? Come on. 380 I'd expect, but some sites say 380 for the same blowback version. So I'm pretty sure that they all must have something wrong somewhere in their typing skills, because this thing is clearly marked on the box from Legends Umarex as being 300 feet per second top. And it does actually do it. You know, it'll do it for a few shots, but then of course, like any other gun, and it's blowback, it uses gas, it's going to drop. Now, as far as distance goes, we have an accuracy video up you can check out. It's not a very good gun at 10 meters. I would probably stick within maybe 5 meters, no more than 6 meters tops. So between about 15 and 18 feet maximum is where I would put this. And, you know, I did get a bullseye out of it. I'm still getting used to the gun, and because it's still getting a little more violent as the parts wear in as I'm using it, it does throw you off, you know. So it's very realistic in a lot of ways with this gun, and it's got some good heft to it weight-wise. It's a pretty heavy gun, you know. It's not lightweight, but you know, even for kids, no kid would have a problem squeezing this trigger if you're going to let a kid play with this thing. Just make sure it's under adult supervision if they're under 16. But definitely you'll love the wide trigger. I do. I love the sensitivity of the trigger. I just got to remember that after each shot to make sure I move my finger out of the way, or I'm accidentally going to fire off a few more. Yeah, overall it's definitely a great gun, and you know, I mean, for everything that it is, you know, you can get more accurate with the gun with practice. That's a big thing. It's going to take a lot of practice to get this thing with tighter groups than even I've been able to manage. I've had some time with it, but you know, I'd probably have to dump about 30 bottles of gas through this thing to get it to be, you know, really decent tight groups at 15 to 18 feet, but I'm sure I can actually pull that off. I just got to spend that kind of time. But it is still a really decently accurate gun for a BB gun with a short barrel. The price, I can't remember exactly what I paid for it. That would be on my unboxing video. But I think it was around 130, either 130 or 150-ish range. Either way, it's worth every penny to go to the blowback version. I mean, if you're going to buy a replica Luger, don't cheap out and get that non-blowback one, because that's just boring. And there's no realism in it either. You know, this has got the heft, the all-metal construction. It's got the realism on how everything works, you know, like the real one. You know, so I mean, if you're not after that and you don't want blowback, well, by all means, cheap out and buy the other one. But I like to have the better quality, or the best quality when it comes to replica guns that I've been buying. I like the better quality shooters. It's just worth spending the extra. So to put a CO2 bottle in this is pretty simplistic. It'll only go in one side. The wider side is here, and you pop your bottle in. You can run Crossman CO2, Umarex, Sig Sauer. Doesn't matter. You won't have any problems. Just slam and go. But the Allen key system, that's actually quite neat. It's a grub screw deal, and it hides up in there actually quite well. So by the time you get the bottle ignited, more than half of your grub screw is buried, so you don't see it. Another good part of the realism of this. Now, I've seen a lot of guys load these things on YouTube videos, what I was looking at, and they seem to like the idea of just leaving the long side out and twisting it in. And the majority of these guys are pissing gas out here, which you shouldn't be, okay? You're losing shots when you do that. So my advice is go until it's snug, maybe give it a little twist, but then switch ends and get the most meat in your hand. Grab a hold of this puppy and give it a good crank, okay, about a half a turn, 3/4 of a turn, and by then it should have punctured the bottle without any issues, and you should have no leaks. If you are worried, then just a little bit of extra snugness is all you need. Don't over tighten ever, because that damages seals, it damages your, well, in this case, your mag. You can bugger up your threads if you over crank, you know, type of thing. You know, and if you do get some kind of an issue where you do have a leak going on at the seal end here, just remember, it's probably because you didn't put any oil in there, so the seal is starting to stiffen up. You want to keep your seal soft and pliable for as long as possible. That's why every second or third bottle is a good deal to put some on there. Okay, now if you're not going to use my recommended 30 weight non-detergent motor oil, please at least stay away from Crossman pellet gun oil, because that stuff actually shrinks and discolors and hardens up seals. You can use silicone spray on all air guns, but it has to be 100% silicone spray, okay, or even silicone lube that's 100%. But it cannot, under any circumstances, have any kind of petroleum distillants in it. I bought some because another channel was showing the 3-in-1 stuff, and it turned out it did damage a gun on me quite quickly. Why he hasn't destroyed any guns yet, I don't know, or if he has, he hasn't said anything. Maybe he doesn't want to, I don't know. But 3-in-1 oil, silicone oil, may have a lot of good silicone in it, but it does contain petroleum distillants, which is something you do not want to get around your air gun seals anywhere. Okay, it is very, very bad. It eats seals. It's kind of like WD-40. Okay, you don't get WD-40 near any gun, period. Not even a real gun. Stuff is horrible to guns. Anyways, there you have it. As far as loading this thing goes, pull back on the metal tab and you got to hold it there. This is the only thing. There's no lock latch here. And you just dump a BB at a time until you see the last BB show, and then you let it go and you're fully loaded. Like I said, I've jammed 20 rounds into this mag. You can fit 20, but they do say, I believe, 19 for this thing. But hey, if 20 works, 20 works. 19, go ahead, whichever. So 19 to 20 rounds. It's a lot of fun. It is a really fun gun. I do like it. It does run, like I said, within factory specs of the box, which is great. 300 feet per second is also not a lot of energy. So if you're thinking tin cans, you don't want to get too close shooting anything metal because BBs can ricochet. So if you are going to shoot tin cans, at least be about 18 to 20 feet away shooting tin cans. If you're just paper punching, set up a cardboard box stuffed with a bunch of newspaper and stuff, like I do, and paste your targets on the box. Shoot paper targets. Shoot coffee cans with the thing if you wanted to, but thin coffee cans because you want to puncture it. You don't want it to shoot back at your face. And for goodness sake, always, especially with any gun, but especially the most with BB guns, wear safety glasses. You never know what's going to cause a ricochet with a BB gun, okay? And that can literally put your eye out, just like the kid from the Christmas movie, remember? You're going to put your eye out. Yeah, and guess what happened to his glasses? Yeah, not cool. So yeah, be very careful with any gun, period, but BB guns especially are the most notorious for ricochets. So you're definitely going to want to make sure that whoever is the shooter is wearing safety glasses, because they can come back at you. But anyway, now where do I want to put this thing though? Value for the money, great. It's definitely worth every penny in my opinion. Might not be the most accurate gun out there even for a BB pistol, but it's still pretty accurate, and it can get better with practice. Okay. The fact that the sights are non-adjustable does not bother me at all. In fact, I think you might be able to actually adjust for windage, because it looks like it's a peened in sight. So you might actually, yeah, there's a bit of a lip on that side still. And there. So you might be able to get a little bit of windage out of it, but I don't think you're going to really need to worry about the thing, only because BBs don't run straight anyhow. So you're defeating the purpose of even not knocking the sight for alignment. You have no adjustability at all in the rear whatsoever. A lot of thought and a lot of technology is sitting in this gun. It is so amazing, even to cock it and pull it down. It's like, man, a shell would normally come out of the top of there. That's pretty sick, and just even looking inside at some of the mechanics in here that are in this thing, that's just crazy, that it's really nice. So, but I would have to put this gun, I have no issues, putting this thing at a 4 out of 5, Bad points, they should have gone with a steel barrel than brass. Only because brass will wear in weird shapes over time as BBs are flying. Steel would have been a lot more durable, even in the same thickness. They should have went steel. That would have been a nitpick I would have on that. That's a viable nitpick. Brass would be okay in a rifled barrel for actually a number of years. How long this barrel is going to last is going to depend on how much you're firing BBs out. But even BBs, when they're firing through a BB smoothbore barrel like this, they're not super tight fitting, okay? Because your mag is actually holding the BB in place, not your barrel inlet part of your breech of your barrel. That doesn't do nothing. It's all in there. So it's going to have a bit more swim to it, we'll call it, okay? So they should have gone with steel over brass. That would have been a better way to go. And it would also add a little bit more to the realism at the muzzle end, okay? I think the trigger, although I love sensitive triggers, this one might be just a little too sensitive, but it's minor. I do like light triggers, okay? So that takes some getting used to. The safety is fine on this. I have no qualms with the safety whatsoever. No qualms over the plastic grips. I don't think it would take much to make a set of wood grips, but I'd have to see. I'm definitely not going to bother trying because that's really thin. Besides, I got out of doing grips. But yeah, I think fit, finish, quality, performance-wise, everything, it's a really good gun, you know. But don't expect pinpoint accuracy. It's a BB gun. It's a fun plinker, but it's also giving you that realism experience without actually having to have the real thing. Okay? I mean, BB guns you can shoot outside. BB guns, in some instances, you can shoot in the house, especially if you have a basement, you know, or in the garage. But you can't shoot real firearms just out in your front yard unless you have that kind of an ability. And I'll tell you right now, in Canada, pistols, doesn't matter where you live. If it's a real firearm pistol, you have to go to an actual RCMP approved shooting range in Canada, which sucks. Okay, so, you know, it's like, where's the freedom of fun, right? So yeah, I like air guns. I like them being non-licensed air guns as well, so I can enjoy my freedoms of living in the country and shooting guns out here in the front yard with you guys, or going into the bush, whatever, type of thing, you know. But yeah, definitely worth a look at. I would recommend this over the non-blowback version any day of the week. Even though the speed is a little slower, you definitely have that full realism. You have field strip ability, full cleaning capabilities. You know, it's a really, really beautiful gun. They did an awesome job on this gun. I'm very impressed. And when I was a kid, I had a Luger cap gun. So I've been kind of collecting replica guns based on cap pistols that I used to have when I was a kid, you know. And it's like, hey, I had a Luger, and, you know, I like the Luger, you know. Not just because I'm part German, but I like the Luger, you know. So I got that. I got Colt Single Action Army, a few others, you know. But anyways, guys, that wraps it up for this video. Like I said, I'll definitely take the time myself to, you know, field strip this thing so I can do it really quick and easy, no confusion for you guys. Show you how to go over all the lube points too on the mechanism, what you need to know and all that jazz. And I hope you enjoyed the video and the review and that you got a lot out of it. I would definitely buy another one, but I don't need to. So, but do buy yourself one of these things. These are a lot of fun. Anyways, catch you later. See you in the next one.